On everybody? This is Gabriel's Taking. I'm Gabriel.
Ron.
And welcome on this lovely Friday after a crazy Thursday. The trade deadline ended yesterday at 3 p.m. And all I can say is wow. Like, I mean, players we never expected to get moved, got moved. Teams that we didn't even hear about trying to make any moves, made moves. I mean, Detroit made a crazy move yesterday. But we're going to get into it, man. First off, we're going to start things off by saying, I guess, KG, back to Minnesota.
Yeah. You know, KG was one of my favorite players, man, that Minnesota era. There weren't many things I wanted basketball-wise to see than to see the Timberwolves win a championship. Think about what he was up against in the West, man. You had, you know, he came in the league in 95. They were really bad for a few years.
12 years he was there.
Yeah, then you ran into Shaq in his prime and Kobe with the Lakers.
Sacramento
you had to
back
deal
then
with Sacramento. You know, you talking about young Tim Duncan in his prime with the Spurs, so they never were able to get over the hump. But I think it's a nice story just to see KG go back and finish up, where he started at.
Do you see him retiring after this season?
I don't know. Me personally, I thought he would. I thought that this was hey, I'm going to go back here, I'm going to play these last 20, 30 games or whatever.
Because he doesn't want to buy out.
And I can hang my number in the rafters, finish up where I started. But some of the reports that were coming out were saying that Minnesota did this deal looking to extend him. I don't know why, because he's been out there looking like a corpse this year.
The way he goes about playing, he wants to compete.
Yeah.
I don't see him being on a team that is this bad for the next 2 years, if not year.
Yeah.
My take in it, KG, wrapping up after the season, man, retire. You had a crazy, great career. You're a Hall of Famer, first ballot. You got you a ring, man. Just ride off to the sunset, man, on your chariot. Like, just chill. But that's my take on it. We're going to get into the next, I want to say that might be the biggest trade today. Miami Heat grabbing Goran Dragic and his little brother, Zoran, whatever his name, the Dragon and Mini Dragon. We had a big trade. I mean, they sent, 4 or 5 players to the Suns for them to, mainly for one guy and his brother. I mean, It was ridiculous. I like Dragic. He's averaging, 16 points a game and 4 assists this year. He wasn't happy in Phoenix.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just didn't think Miami was a place for him to go at all.
Yeah. I didn't really think Miami would have a chance of pulling this off just because I didn't think they had the pieces, right? I thought that with a player like Dragic, he's 28 years old, so he's in his prime.
Yeah.
He made All-NBA team last year. So you would think that they would really try to hold out to get a player of that caliber
and the
pick.
Yeah.
From a team that they were willing to trade with. But the problem they had was with him saying basically I'm not going to sign. You couldn't risk losing an asset like that for nothing. So I guess the Miami offer was the best offer they had, man. And it's basically 4 players that are not going to be on the team next year.
Kenny Granger, Norris Cole, Justin Hamilton, and 2 other guys who are not even important.
Yeah.
And 2 first-round picks.
And these picks apparently will be way down the road when they come over to Phoenix. So, but you don't really have anything to show for what was an all-star caliber player.
Yeah, in Phoenix's eyes.
Yes.
My question is, why not Houston though? I feel like Houston was a front runner to grab Dragic. He's played there before. He knows the personnel there. What do you think happened with that?
I don't know. I guess the offer wasn't that great, right? That had to be because if you're the Suns, I know Dragic give you these lists. Okay, these are the 3 teams I'm going to consider: L.A., New York, Miami. But as an organization, you don't care. You know what I'm saying? You want to everybody has their own best interests in mind. That's how people go through life. Everybody's looking out for themselves. So if I'm looking out for me, I don't care what you want. I'm going with whoever gives me the best haul. So you have to guess that what happened was they didn't come with as strong as offer as Miami. Maybe it was only 1 pick or something.
Could have been maybe he didn't want to go back because they traded him before?
Yeah, but he doesn't have control of the situation. It doesn't matter nobody cares. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's like you being with your parents when you were like 6 years old. Like, Mom, I want that. Like, I don't care what you want. Like,
either you gonna get it or she gonna get
exactly.
it or
she not. Right. If she don't want it, then it's not gonna happen because at the end of the day, what she says goes. At the end of the day, what the team says goes. So I just have to believe that the offer wasn't that great.
Do you see Miami maybe moving up a spot?
I do.
Do you see catching Milwaukee at that 6th spot?
Now six is kind of tough because I think Milwaukee's like 6 or 7 games over 500. Miami might be like a game or so over 500. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It all depends on D-Wade, right? If D-Wade's healthy.
If he's healthy, I don't have them pegged to maybe make a run. I mean, the East is kind of wide open other than the Cavs in Chicago. And like I said before in the pods, Miami always plays good against Cleveland.
Yeah.
I just don't think Dragic is that.
We need to check on LeBron, man. Somebody needs to find LeBron. Make sure he's not trying to slide out the back door. Hey. Because with his temperament, we know how he is.
I can see him now. He got
Miami got Dragic? Oh. What's the temperature down there right now?
He's texting D-Wade like, y'all got Dragic, man? He's way better than Norris Cole.
Man, if they'd have got him before the season started, I would have never left.
Bruh. Don't say that. Hey, Cavs fans, chill. I got my ear to the ground. I'll let y'all know. if LeBron want to split, y'all be the first to get it from here, all right? But are we going to move on to the next one? The Bucks made a move.
Yeah.
The Bucks made a big move trading Brandon Knight and getting Michael Carter Williams. This year last year.
This trade might have been the biggest shock of the day. What do you think?
Yeah, I didn't see
because
the Bucks were trying
there were no rumblings as far as the Bucks being active. If the Bucks were going to be active, it was going to be releasing Larry Sanders and whatever happens in his situation. But there was no chatter in the NBA world about them making a move with Brandon Knight because Brandon Knight was having a great year.
He was having a good year. Now that's a 3-team trade too, though.
Yes.
The Suns get Brandon Knight, who's averaging 18 and 6 this year.
Yeah.
And he was starting
career numbers.
Bucks get Michael Carter Williams, Tyler Ennis, who's a rookie this year, who a lot of teams liked, and Miles Plumlee. He's a big time player for you, right?
He's phenomenal. Okay.
And all the Sixers get is draft picks. Sidebar: the Sixers have 8 draft picks this year.
Yeah.
8 in this year's draft.
Yeah.
It's outrageous.
Heard a stat that they have 17 picks from other teams in the next few years is insane.
I don't know what they're trying to rebuild.
They're like that guy that he's like prepping for doomsday. Like
he's got a prepper, doomsday prepper.
He's got a concrete bunker in his backyard.
He's got all
these canned
tuna you can never think of.
Like, bruh, you don't have any food, but you got canned goods for doomsday.
Hey, you never know, bro. If it ain't happened yet, it ain't gonna happen anytime soon. But hey,
come on, man.
But I see the Bucks maybe trying to chase the Cavs down at 5.
They can try.
Do you think it's an upgrade for the Bucks?
No, I do not. I think it's a downgrade. I think that
Larry Sanders is going, and I think Miles Plumlee is an upgrade.
Miles Plumlee is serviceable.
He doesn't smoke.
He's serviceable.
He does not smoke. He's going to be there.
He will be available for games.
He's not going to be at the bar hurting himself.
But that fact alone, he might be an upgrade. Just because
he's going to be. He's not going to be.
He's actually going to be available. But as far as the Michael Carter Williams Brandon Knight swap, I think that's a downgrade. I think that Brandon Knight does things, particularly shoot the ball, way better than Michael Carter Williams does.
But Michael Carter Williams, man, when he gets going, we saw that in Philly. I mean, Philly was a bad team, and he took a lot. He was a major part of the offense. But I mean, he can move the rock. He can get that ball.
I think he's gonna have a hard time getting to the basket because they don't have shooters in Milwaukee, especially with Jabari being out for a year. Because you're starting a guy. They have. So you're talking about Michael Carter Williams can't shoot. Jared Bayless is a decent shooter.
Jared Bayless.
You got Giannis who can't shoot. So basically, you got one guy on the floor that can shoot, right? So the paint is going to be clogged. He needs to get to the rack. I think it's going to be tough for him until he really improves his jump shot.
You see them sliding down? Maybe.
I do. I see them. I definitely see Milwaukee slide down to the AFC. I can see Miami and Charlotte both passing them, right? I can see that.
And I'd love to see how that turns out because Milwaukee's a great young up and coming team. So we'll see how that goes. Now, with one of the biggest trades of the day, other than that Heat trade, OKC made some moves that I didn't think, other than moving Reggie Jackson. They moved KP, Kendrick Perkins, combat boots. They moved him about time. Am I right? About time.
Absolutely.
They finally got their contract off the books. Took him 3 years too late, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they finally got him off the books. Who they bring in? They beef up their bench. They bring in Enes Kanter from Utah, Steve Novak from Utah, Kyle Singler from Detroit, and DJ Augustin.
I think I'm Aaron Rodgers Novak.
Double check Novak. I feel like...
Where the heck was Steve Novak? I don't even know what team he was on.
Utah.
I think he was selling insurance with Cliff Paul. Do we know that Steve Novak is Who's seen Steve Novak in the last 2 years?
He really wasn't playing a lot.
Clearly.
That's not his fault. I mean, he's a shooter. That's all he does.
I think I saw an APB out on Steve Novak.
I mean, all right, look.
Aaron Rodgers called. He wants a celebration.
Kendrick Perkins goes to Utah, along with a pick and some guy named Grant Jarrett, who I've never heard of before today. And the Detroit Pistons get Reggie Jackson, who's averaging 13 and 4 this year. He was a solid player off the bench, I felt like, this year. And he wanted out, so they moved him.
And he's also on trial for multiple homicides.
Yes. I didn't see Detroit in this today.
No.
I didn't. They were really quiet.
Yeah.
The whole trade.
It's a nice move for Detroit, right?
Yeah, I'm kind of speechless because I did not see it happen.
With Brandon Jennings being out for the year, clearly they're making this move with the hopes of getting into the playoffs. And, if they want to, I really almost said, they want to extend Bobby Schmurder. If they want to extend Reggie Jackson, because I think Brandon Jennings, if not this year, I think next year his deal's up. So clearly they're making this move with an eye towards the future.
Some people,
Reggie Jackson being their guy.
Once Reggie Jackson got traded to Detroit, some people actually were asking, because there was about 10 minutes left, is Brandon Jennings going to get moved?
Yeah.
He's out. He's had Achilles surgery. Is he going to get moved? I thought so. But, okay, my next question is, though, how do you like OKC's chances in the Western Conference? Do you see them grabbing the eighth spot?
Absolutely. They're definitely making the playoffs because I see Phoenix sliding out and falling out with the moves.
They blew up.
With the day they had. So I see OKC at the minimum getting that 8th spot, but I definitely see them getting in the playoffs for sure.
They'll be the toughest 8th seed in NBA history if they can make it there. Yeah. When they get there.
Yeah.
I mean, you already got Russ and KD. You bring Enes Kanter, who I feel like is going to start at your center or power forward position because him and Ibaka play. I see them playing well together.
Yeah.
And then your bench, DJ Augustine, who I feel like is a very formidable point guard in the league. People forget he started for a couple teams.
Yeah.
Charlotte. He started for the Bulls back in the day when D Rose went out. He was starting there. I like him at that backup position. And then Kyle Singler's a starter in this league. I like him coming on the bench behind KD.
Yeah, he's great off the bench. Look, right. One of the problems that OKC's had for years, right, whether it was Stabo Cephalosha or Andre Robertson, is you had guys on the floor that couldn't shoot. You had Kendrick Perkins. You always had 2 to 3 guys that were not a threat offensively.
Any offensive play.
So with this trade and with them bringing in Kanter and bringing in Augustine and Novak and Singler, they're always going to have 5 guys on the court at all times that are a threat. Guys you have to guard.
Even when you put McGarry out there.
Exactly. And the guys already had. So they had McGarry, they had Adams, they had Collison, they have Waiters. All these guys have a skill. Ibaka, right. All these guys have a skill. All these guys are at least at the minimum good enough where you can't leave them open.
Anthony Morrow's a knockdown shooter.
Any attention you have to pay to them is less attention you pay to Russ and KD, who already are assassins, who already can kill you.
Now,
so if I'm Greg Pop, on them.
I'm going to do what I did to LeBron in the finals. I'm going to say, okay, everybody else, y'all got to beat me.
Yeah.
KD and Russ, I'm going to double team.
You can try that.
But like you said, they got a lot of knockdown shooters. Yeah. Steve Novak in special situations when he comes in off the bench, he's a knockdown shooter. He has been since he came to the league. So, especially in that corner, he's definitely a corner threat. I like this trade a lot. I felt like they got rid of a guy who didn't want to be there in an expiring contract, and they bring in they might have the best bench going into the postseason, in my opinion. That's my take on it. But we're going to keep moving right along. We're going to go. Portland Trailblazers made a move.
Yeah.
They went and got your boy Aaron Flalo from UCLA. Didn't see that coming. Didn't see Portland in there. I felt like maybe if Miami was going to do something, they might grab him as a backup for D-Wade because D-Wade's out a lot. I like that. I like that pickup for them.
Yeah, it's a nice move. They didn't really have much of a bench. They've done some things. They brought in Chris Kaman. They drafted C.J. McCollum a couple years ago. He hasn't exactly worked out the way that they thought he would. So they needed to bolster that bench, right? They gave up, Will Barton, who's a serviceable player. Thomas Robinson.
They also got Lonzo G.
Right, Thomas Robinson, who's had a disappointing career to this point. Like you said, you bring in Aaron Flalo, who's a proven player who has multiple skills, and Lonzo G, who's serviceable, and I like the move for them.
Do you see them maybe making some moves in the playoffs as far as like getting out that first round?
I can see Portland winning the round. It all, like we said the other day, it all depends on the matchup.
They do have the Clippers. Right? They do have
anybody can beat almost anybody can beat anybody in the West. The seeds don't really matter. It's all about the matchup. So, depending on who they see in the first round, I can see them winning the round, but probably not much.
Aaron Aflalo is one of those guys who gets traded a lot because he's a guy that a lot of teams like.
Yeah.
He coaches love him because he's very a likable guy in the locker room, and he gels with the philosophy, and he can knock down shots. He's a proven scorer. I mean, we seen him when he was in Denver. He can lead a team in scoring when need be. I know he's going to be a firecracker off the bench. I feel like, I give Portland an A+ in my book because they picked up a really good guy and they can come off their bench. But okay, and moving into our next segment, we're going to start ranking the trades from biggest winners to biggest losers today.
Yeah, so we wanted to do something a little bit different. Obviously, everybody's talking about the trades that happened, so we thought that we would each give our own opinion, from 5 to 1, who had the worst trade day and who had the best trade day, and a little bit of an explanation of why. So I can kick this off with my list. Actually, I know I just said we're gonna go 5 to 1, but I actually have a 6th in here because this team.
He can do it.
Yeah. So yes, we're gonna do.
Yeah.
So starting off at number 6, the biggest losers, and not in the way of the TV show, which is actually like a good thing to lose, but this is a bad way to lose. The biggest losers of the day are the Phoenix Suns. You start off the day with Goran Dragic, a guy that was 20-6 last year. You thought you bolstered your bench by bringing in Isaiah Thomas, signing him. So you also came into the day owners of the rights to the Lakers' first-round pick, which is top 5 protected, meaning if it fell outside the top 5, the pick went to Phoenix. Mm-hmm. You never know with the lottery. Look at what happened with the Cavs last year. We had, I think, the lowest or one of the lowest chances of getting the number 1 pick. They ended up getting the number 1 overall pick. So you never know what could happen with that pick. So they took that, and those 3 pieces all became 4 bums from Miami. Danny Granger's been washed up for years.
Norris Cole
has a flat top in 2015. And 2 guys, we don't know their names. Sorry, we don't know.
He was riding LeBron's
Nobody's out here checking for you guys.
He was riding LeBron's slave back to them championships.
So you got 4 bums. You got 2 first-round picks, which will not be handed over to you for at least, 3-4+ years.
It's going to be a while.
Yeah, it's going to be a long time. So, and Brandon Knight, who is a good player. He's not as good as Goran Dragic, but he's a good player.
No.
But he's also a free agent after this season.
He's also on Shaq and the Fools All-Stars.
Yes. Nobody will ever forget what happened to his ankles. We cannot confirm or deny if his ankles have recovered from the rookie sophomore game a couple years ago. So, you got to think about, do you want to pay this guy? Because if he walks... If they let him walk at the end this year, this is one of the worst trades ever.
It will go down in history as the biggest loss.
Right.
Wow.
So basically, you have to pay this guy. So you're going to be paying 2 point guards. I guess the biggest thing that makes them the biggest loser is they did this to themselves.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because they had great chemistry. They had a good team last year. It looked like they were on the rise with Dragic and Bledsoe. And then they thought it was a good idea to go out there and sign Isaiah Thomas, who clearly is out here looking like the biggest cancer in the league, because you look at
chemistry killer.
Yeah, you look at what happened in Sacramento, and now look at what happens here. And then he got traded, I think, to Philadelphia at first. And we don't want this guy. So he ends up in Boston at the end of the day. So yeah, Phoenix, you're the biggest loser. If Phoenix trade day was a woman, it would be Precious. So move right along. Number 5 on my list is the Bucks. As we mentioned, the Bucks were definitely the biggest surprise as far as being active today. Like we said, Brandon Knight was having a career year. He was putting up good numbers.
He was playing
they were looking like a team on the rise. You lost Jabari Parker, a guy that was one of the top picks in last year's draft, and they were still had a decent record at that point. And you decided to trade this guy for Michael Carter-Williams, who I guess long term could turn out to be a very good player.
If he ever gets a jumper.
You think that under the tutelage of Jason Kidd, he'll develop into a pretty good player?
Well, Brandon Knight was doing great under his.
Right. I see they are above Phoenix because I can kind of understand the rationale behind what they did, right? Brandon Knight was up for a contract extension.
And you're going to have to pay him.
You're going to have to pay this guy because he's having a career year. They don't want to deal with it. So you get a guy who's, still on his rookie deal. You'll have him for multiple years, and hopefully he develops.
Hopefully.
So that, I kind of see that. Number 4 on my list, I got Detroit. They gave up DJ Augustine and Kyle Singler. DJ Augustine is a very solid backup in the league. Like Gabe said earlier, we saw a couple years ago what he did with Chicago. He was incredible that season in the absence of D Rose. Kyle Singler is probably about an average NBA player, good shooter.
Yeah.
But
he hasn't turned out like he should.
Yeah. These guys are all stars, and you turn that into Reggie Jackson, basically, right?
Yeah, Bobby Shmurda.
Yes, Bobby Shmurda, and whatever his crew's called. So you basically flip 2 guys who really don't move the needle for you too much into somebody that could blossom. Yes, somebody that could blossom into one of the better
second tier player.
Yeah, one of the better young point guards in the league.
Eric Bledsoe 2.0. I mean, he's not gonna be as good as Bledsoe, but you kind of have that mold.
Possibly, right? So Detroit. I think Detroit did a pretty decent job. Number 3 on my list is Portland. Portland's in that position where you have a good team, you know who you are, but you might feel like you need a little tweak here and there. You just want to get pieces. You got a nice car, but it's kind of hot in here. I like to get the windows tinted. So you go get the windows tinted. You know what I'm saying? I don't really like the way it rides. The tires are okay, but I need some new tires. You know what I'm saying? A Flalo's one of those accessories.
Yes.
He's an accessory, right?
Playing good. We want to beef up just a bit.
Right. So we're trying to maximize our potential. So I think that was a nice move for them. Number 2 on my list is Miami.
They did some things.
Miami arguably could be number 1, but I'm just gonna be honest. I don't like the Miami Heat, man.
He does not.
I don't think that Miami. First off, I don't think Miami deserves to have a good team. Second off, I don't like the way.
Is that because they stole LeBron?
They didn't steal LeBron.
Yeah, because he left. He wanted to go there.
They have terrible.
Are you hurt?
They have terrible fans. For example, I have a friend of mine who follows me on Twitter who's a Miami Heat fan. You know what I heard from him all season?
What was that?
Crickets. You know what happens to me today? They get Goran Dragic. You know what happens? You know what he tweets me? We coming at the camp.
We back.
Really?
We back.
Really? It's
take
ridiculous,
several
man.
seats.
It's ridiculous.
I think I know what you're talking about.
So, but hey, Pat Riley, man, he does it again,
genius.
Man. He gives up 4 bums, 2 first-round picks that, he might
Mind you, he said he really wasn't trying to make any move until the free agency.
Yeah.
So.
4 bums, 2 first-round picks that, Phoenix probably won't. Pat Riley might be dead before Phoenix gets those picks. And he turns them into Goran Dragic, one of the best. Goran Dragic arguably might have been the top free agent of Marcus Gasol. But he was one of the top free agents that were going to be available this year. So you turn those assets into Goran Dragic, and now you have a starting 5 of Dragic, Wade, Dang, Bosh, and Hassan Whiteside. I'm trying to get my 2K rating up.
Yes, Whiteside. So he is working. I checked it today. He's up 2 points.
So they're formidable, right? At the minimum, Miami's formidable. They're going to be tough out. Depending on D-Wade tough out.
They could take the Hawks 7, I feel like, with Dragic.
So that leaves number 1 on my list, which is OKC. I love what OKC did. I think Kanter is a great. Oh yeah. Maybe not a great. He's a good young big. He has a lot. He brings elements to their game that they didn't have, right?
He can move.
Yeah.
He can guard. Yeah. He can move. He rebounds. And he's not a dead weight on offense.
Yeah. And they helped out their bench by bringing in Singler, Augustine, and Novak to go along with waiters
and Morrow and McGee. Their team.
They're deep.
They are deep.
They're 10, 11 deep, right?
Wow.
But the interesting point that one of my friends brought up to me today when I was talking to him, shout out Rose, they solved some problems today, right?
Yes.
But they did not solve their biggest problem. This was his point. Their biggest problem is Scott Brooks. We touched on this the other day in the podcast, right? KD got upset, right?
Yeah.
But here's the fact of the matter. Scott Brooks is terrible yesterday, today,
and tomorrow,
and forevermore. All right. All these moves, they don't they don't fix that problem. So is Scott Brooks going to be able to take the steps that he needs to guide the talent in the right direction and get them to the next step? What do you think?
I think he's not going to be able to, but I'm going to be honest with you. Come playoff time, Scott Brooks is going to he has a plan in place. I feel like this is KD. It's KD and rest, man. I'm blaming this year on them if they don't do something.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You're right. Scott Brooks is not a great coach, but as many years as KD and Russ has been riding with him, they know he's not good. And ain't nothing changed. They either like him or they feel like he's doing a good job. So the media can go at him all day. We can go at Scott Brooks all day, but this is KD. If KD and Russ make it to the playoffs and they get bounced in the first or second round, don't make it to the finals, conference finals, I feel like you put that on Russ and KD. You can't always put it on the coach, even though the coach is bad. Look, Mike Brown is bad, but when LeBron lost, who they blame it on? Mike Brown, but it was LeBron's fault.
Yeah.
LeBron said, I like Mike Brown. I want him here. That is not Mike Brown's fault that he's a bad coach, but he got good people in his corner.
Mike Brown's the worst. So once again, my list from Precious to Beyonce is we got Precious at number 6 of the Phoenix Suns. We got the Bucks at number 5. We got Detroit at number 4. We got Portland at number 3. Miami at number 2. And our Beyonce of the day is OKC at number 1.
Now I'm going to do a little different. I'm about to run down real quick the players. He did the teams. I'm going to do players. Starting with my worst. The player that got the horrible end of the stick. Isaiah Thomas. You went from being in Sacramento last year, starting point guard on a decent team, up and coming on the roster. You had Boogie, you had Rudy Gay, you had McLemore, and you left there. They didn't want to pay you. You go to Phoenix, you get paid, and then you do something and you kill chemistry. What's the problem, man? You was getting good money, you was playing good, you was getting playing time. Why'd you have to go in there and do that, man? It wasn't your team. It's not your job to go. It's your job to go in there and be a spark plug off the bench, not to start. Whoever can tell you that, hit it. I didn't slap him in the face. You end up in Boston. Boston is a career killer right now. They're not trying to win. They're not trying to lose. I'm sorry, man, you messed up. 4, we're going to go with Mark Carter-Williams. You went from being the man of Philly, yeah, they wasn't playing, but you the man. Now you're finna go to the Bucks, and you playing behind Giannis, and Giannis pretty much in his arms now. Hopefully you can do something with their. Don't mess it up, man. They're a playoff team. I like the Bucks. They're young. I feel like you can bring some sort of help there. So try and do your thing. Try and fit in jail before the playoffs start. Number 3, we're going to go with Aaron Aflalo. I like it. I put him at 3 because it wasn't a good pickup. It wasn't really bad. Like he said earlier, it was an accessory pick. So Aflalo, he fits good with their system. Yeah. He can shoot the 3, which they love to do there. Yeah. And he can defend just like Wesley Matthews. Yep. He's just light-skinned. So I like that pick. Number 2, Reggie Jackson. You wanted to get out. They got you out. Now you got to show us what you're going to do in Detroit. That's going to be your team for the rest of the year. Yeah. No Brandon Jennings to step on your toes and say, I want to get back. Let's see what you got. You got a great power forward. You got a great center on that squad. Let's see what you can do. Pick and rolls all day. You was doing it with KP, but he can't move. You got a guy to throw lives to. So let's see what you got. Now, my biggest winner of today, who am I going to pick up again?
Goran Dragic.
Goran Dragic. I had to remember for a second. I was thinking of his brother Zorn. But Goran, you wanted out. Your agent did a great job, man.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see you going to Miami. I saw you going to Houston.
Yeah.
You got out from where you didn't want to go. Now you're finna go here. I want to see a little Steve Nash action. We ain't nobody action to go out and get 20. We don't need you to go out and get 16. I see you maybe averaging 12 and 9 for the remainder of the season. Going to some playoffs. That's going to go up a little bit because D-Wade might not play a lot or he's going to ask a little more of you because you can score. Playoffs, I see you averaging maybe 16, 17. But that assist, I want to stay hot because you got a guy in Bosch you can kick out to because Drives like to drive.
Yeah.
You got a kick out guy in Bosch. You got a pick and roll man in Whiteside.
The game is going to be mean.
With Bosch and Whiteside.
Yeah.
And then you got Luol Deng who can definitely spread the floor. And then you got D-Wade. So, Goran Dragic is my biggest winner today. Hopefully it works out for these guys, man. I really feel bad for Isaiah Thomas, but hey, man, what you gonna do? You 5'9", bro. Life's already sucks for you.
You getting paid millions of dollars. Won't feel that bad for you.
You got yeah, and you brown too. Like, come on, bro. Like, you're living good. But yeah, man, that's my take. I appreciate everybody staying with us. Watch the whole vid. I know you ain't gonna see this because y'all don't watch the vid. We love y'all, man. Watch the whole vid. Show y'all support. Subscribe. Hit me up on Instagram, Mr__Hemingway. We having a contest coming up for guest appearances on the show. So if you're interested in that, DM me. I'll let you guys know what's going on with that. Hit me up on Twitter.
He really just want to get his DMs popping.
A little bit, but then it's mostly guys that are on here.
Oh,
so
yeah, never mind. Pause.
If you're a female, you want to DM me, go ahead. I'm not going to tell you not to, but yeah, man. On Twitter, @Gabe Hemingway. What's your Twitter again?
RonJR89.
He got no followers, man. Hit us up, comment, subscribe, like, and that's our show. Gabriel's Take. We out. You want to smile? You want to do some